Hi, I saw your video on consciousness, and I just wanted to bring up a little point about our friend Wilder Penfield. I knew about him before. I forgot his name, to be honest with you. But I did have him in a psychology class that I took, and it was very interesting. But upon further research, this is what I found. And this is from Wikipedia. Maybe not the best resource, but I think this information is true. This is what it reads. Penfield reported that stimulation of the temporal lobes could lead to vivid recall of memories. Oversimplified in popular psychology publications, including the best I'm Okay, You're Okay, this seeded the common misconception the brain continuously records experiences in perfect detail, although these memories are not available to conscious recall. In reality, however, the reported episodes of recall occurred in less than 5% of the patients. Let me say that again. What he did, that response by prodding around people's brain and getting there to remember different things, that only happened in 5% of his patients. And these results have not been replicated by modern surgeons. His development of the neurosurgical technique that produced the less injurious blah, 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 blah. Anyways, the point is that less than 5% of people that he experimented with were able to actually have their memories spread around it on, and now people can't even replicate what he did. So I think that brings into question how material our consciousness really is. I think that our memories are stored materially. I think this is proven by Alzheimer's disease. When people get old and they forget things, we find that it's because their brain just isn't firing up like it used to. So I think that memories are stored in a physical way. I think the way that we move is very material. Obviously, there's connections between our brain and our arm. But as far as manipulating those things to our liking, that's where consciousness comes in. Poking somebody in the brain and getting them to remember water getting poured on their hand, or I read a different case of a lady remembering a carnival. That's just spontaneously getting them to remember different things. Actually giving a person motive and getting them to do different things and choose one thing over another, or believe in one philosophy or another, that is interesting. And I don't believe science has been able to really poke somebody's brain and figure out, well, why is it that you believe this? Why is it physically that you believe this? And don't you think it's interesting how we're able to construct our own identity and say, this is who I am? I mean, the brain is basically just, it's kind of like, an operating system. We manipulate our body with it. We can recall memories that we've recorded. We can decide how we'll move. We can see something, and through the machinery working, we can then make a decision that's in our best interest. Flight or flight response, that has been chemically proven. But the idea of actually looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, my name is so-and-so, and, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, that I think is harder to pinpoint. I mean, you mentioned that, things that we feel and touch. I don't think we can be really simplified to things that we feel and touch. Things that we feel and touch, animals feel and touch, but animals don't think about it. You know what I mean? Like one person, if you touch their hand, they might be very receptive and, appreciate that. Another person might recoil because of some, bad history they've had with somebody, or just because they have some sort of phobia. But the thing is that we don't just feel, we don't just see, we don't just hear, we don't just taste. We actually organize those ways in a way that's very, as you said, personal to us, and we make meaning out of that. And although you'll find genetic twins, I don't think you'll find any two people that think exactly the same way, that perceive the world in exactly the same way. I don't think that's possible, and I think that's where the soul is. our ability to manipulate what our brain feeds us. How has science proved our manipulation of what the material world gives us? The absolute objectivity of the brain astounds me. Now, when I say objectivity, I don't mean that sometimes our brain tricks us. Okay. Sometimes we see things in ways that aren't really reflecting reality, but again, that's just our senses misinforming us. It's what our brain does with that stuff that is interesting, and I would really like to see an explanation of that. But anyways, you were much more cogent and lucid, as Matt Fails usually is. But anyways, that was my idea on it. Thanks.